Hey, what's going on, Horrorhead family? It's Rico. I'm back for another video. Now, this video I am extremely excited and equally nervous about because this is my first, I guess, commentary video, if you will. I am so happy that these past couple years have brought like a resurgence, if you will, of the franchise and has brought so many new fans to the franchise. And I'm just excited to get into it. We are all waiting for Scream 7 with bated breath. Unfortunately, we have to wait an entire year. So while we wait, I feel it is only fitting that I go ahead and rank my favorite to least favorite Scream movies. And so that's what I'm going to do. So we're just going to get right on into it now. At the very bottom of the list for my least favorite Scream movie, it is Scream 5. Now, I just need you to hear me out because I feel like a lot of the newer fans may not agree with me at all that Scream 5 is the least favorite Scream. And that might be because everybody loves Jenna Ortega and she is amazing, but she doesn't make the movie for me. Everybody loves Melissa Barrera. She's amazing. She does not make the movie for me. It was something about that movie that just wasn't like settling in my horror spirit, and I did not really know what it was. I couldn't put my finger on it. I did a little research, right, and found out that not only did they have 2 directors for the movie, they had 2 writers for the movie too. So we got 2 writers and 2 directors. And then it started to explain a whole bunch of things for me because the movie does feel a little bit like it's too many chefs in the kitchen. You know what I mean? It's too many spoons in the pot. And that's exactly how it felt. It felt like I was getting a little bit of this and a little bit of that from everybody involved. Another thing that I really couldn't get with is, I guess, the character arcs for Dewey and Sheriff Hicks, or Deputy Hicks, excuse me. This is how I feel. When Scream 5 came out, it had been about 10 or 11 years since Scream 4 had came out. So I figured if you're coming into this with a fresh new set of directors, a fresh new set of writers, then I really feel like the plot line should have been fresh too. Like the fact that they came back after all of these years and then still in a sense was kind of like relying on the storyline and the plot from the past and trying to connect the original Scream to this one. It just felt too far removed. I mean, it's been what, 25 years since the first Scream came out, and you're fighting tooth and nail to connect Scream 5 with the first Scream. I just didn't think it was executed well enough. I really think they should have came in with a new pair of eyes and found a way to revive the franchise on their own without biting from anything from the past. No disrespect, it just felt a little lazy. It felt so lazy to me, like, really? We're going back to the past yet again? We're learning about secrets from 25 years ago yet again? I just feel like they could have came up with something better. This new character who we've never met just happens to be the daughter of Billy Loomis. It's like, I don't want to hear any more about Billy Loomis at all. I don't want to hear about Billy. I don't want to hear about Stu. I don't want to hear about Jill. I don't want to hear about any of the past killers. We need something new and fresh within the franchise. Hey, sue me, okay? Now we're going to move on to what I think the 5th least favorite movie in the franchise is. And for me, that is Scream 6. I'm going to do a separate video that kind of talks about my issues with Scream 5 and Scream 6. And you know what? This is no disrespect to the filmmakers of that movie. I have a couple of problems with both movies, and so much so to where I don't want to spend all my time talking about it on this video. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to break it all the way down, have my little notes so I can go point by point into how I feel about the new direction of the Scream movies. I just have a really big problem of them trying to connect every single Scream movie when it doesn't have to be connected. And another thing, Scream 6 felt very copy and paste, very, I'm gonna put this scene in there, I'm gonna put that scene in there. It felt like they sat down and said, all right, we're doing this new Scream movie, Scream 6, it's gonna be in New York, what do we want to see? And they said alley, check, subway, check, bodega, check. It felt like they were going off of a checklist of different scenes that they want to put, and they just went off of that. And it's so strange because if you watch the scenes like by themselves, they're really good scenes, I'll give them that. Scream 6 has some really good intense moments in it that I enjoy. They just feel out of place and they don't feel like they connect to each other. See, one of the things that I love about Kevin Williamson's writing is it could be the smallest detail. You could have the salt shaker on the table, baby, and think nothing of it, but watch that Scream movie 2 and 3 times and then watch the sequels after it. That salt shaker is gonna connect some kind of way. And for me, that was the genius of having Kevin Williamson writing the movies. That was the genius of having Wes Craven, RIP, directing the movies, is that everything, no matter how small of a detail, was so intentional that when you look back, you realize how brilliant the writing is and how brilliant the script was, and it just made the movies overall just so much better for me. And I feel like that's a big thing that Scream 5 and Scream 6 lacked. They lacked like the natural finesse of the writing of Kevin Williamson. I don't want to spend too much time on Scream 5 and Scream 6 because I could, but I'm just gonna have to lay everything else about these two movies in its own video. Should I say my 4th favorite? I hate saying least favorite because, you know, I guess I'll say my 4th favorite Scream movie is Scream 3. I know. A lot of you who rank the Scream movies will probably put Scream 3 at the very bottom of your list. But I honestly think that Scream 3 gets so much hate, and I feel like, yes, when it first came out, for a long time, Scream was kind of the black sheep of the franchise. But you know what? As time passes on and I rewatch the movie, I find myself going, you know what? This actually holds up. And I think one of the things that I love a lot about Scream 3 is the fact that even though it's not written by Kevin Williamson, it feels closer to how Kevin Williamson writes. I feel closer to home with Scream 3 than I do Scream 5 and 6. I feel like it's really an underrated gem of the franchise, and I feel like for so many years we've been holding on to this narrative that it's the worst Scream, and so much so to that's just what we peg it now. I love the fact that it had a writer that hadn't worked on the Scream franchise before, but they utilized Cotton's character so brilliantly. Like coming right out of the ending of Scream 2, where you see Cotton is getting the recognition, I guess, that he's been wanting to get. And then fast forward and we open up Scream 3, and now we see that Cotton has made it to exactly where he has been wanting to make it. And not only that, he happens to be the opening kill. I just think it's like just brilliant. I love the way they brought Jamie Kennedy back. They brought him back within context of his character's dynamic, I guess. Like, who would have thought that Randy filmed a video just in case he died during the events of Scream 2? I felt that made so much sense. I don't care what anybody say. I honestly think that Scream 5 and Scream 6 has too much shock value moments. And because you're focusing more on the shock value of the movie, you're not really looking at the logistics of it. You know what I'm saying? Now, my 3rd favorite Scream movie is Scream 4. Now, 2 movies I had been fighting against is Scream 3 and Scream 4 because, like I say, Scream 3 just feels closer to home for me. However, However, what I love about Scream 4 is the fact that the kills are more brutal. Like, I feel like Scream 4 finally gave us what we had been waiting for so many years. It's just more brutal deaths, you know what I mean? And I mean, I guess it's only so much you can do with the hunting knife, but I mean, Scream 4 really, especially Olivia's death, I think hands down, unanimously, we all can agree that Olivia's death in Scream 4 is absolutely the most brutal death. Now, this is with the exception of Casey's death in the first Scream, but I think that those two scenes, those two kills go head, like they can go head to head in a battle. I feel like I only have two criticisms for Scream 4, and that would be the opening scene. I don't think Emma Roberts was a believable enough killer in the end. My unpopular opinion is that Emma Roberts and Hayden Panettiere, they should have switched characters. So Hayden Panettiere should have been Jill and Emma Roberts should have been Kirby. In second place for me is the original Scream. Now, I understand that everybody loves the original and it is amazing, it is iconic, it is all of these things, right? I feel like Scream is like just about as close to perfection for a slasher movie as you can get. In first place for me, the undisputed champ will always be Scream 2. That's my movie. Scream 2, I could watch Scream 2 all day, every day. Scream 2, to me, had the better chase scenes, better moments of suspense, and the kill scenes just a lot more intense. Y'all have to understand that at the time, it was like such a step up. It's like, wow, Scream 2 is my absolute favorite Scream movie, and Scream 1996 is my second favorite Scream movie. They go hand in hand. Like, if we didn't have any other movies in the franchise other than Scream and Scream 2, I feel like those two together is just perfect. Like, they just fit each other like a glove. Like, the full arc of the story, starting from 1 and going into 2 is just brilliant. Scream 2 is always going to be my absolute favorite because it literally took everything that Scream was in 1996 and it literally just took it to a whole new level. And honestly, Mrs. Loomis turning out to be the killer, one of the killers in Scream 2, is absolutely hands down one of the best killer reveals of the franchise. And I know that a lot of people will say that it probably could compete with Jill's killer reveal in Scream 4, but I think I'm gonna do a completely different video talking about the killer reveals and why I just enjoy Mrs. Loomis's reveal much more than Jill's. But that is my ranking, people. I'm sticking to it. Don't fight me on it. We could talk about it and debate it all we want, Scream family, but that is my ranking. So from my very favorite Scream movie down to my least favorite Scream movie, the complete order is Scream 2, Scream 1996, Scream 4, Scream 3, Scream 6, and then Scream 5. My bad, I had to remember that. That's my ranking. I'm sticking to it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment below if you are a fan of the Scream franchise as I am. Please comment below and let everybody know what your ranking is from most favorite to least favorite. And I will see you all on the next video. Peace.